Yo. Ooh, music's still on. Hold on, guys. Technical difficulties. Can you turn off the music? It's on for me. Uh, okay. We're still good. I don't see the stream. It still says starting. Um, 1 second, guys. Let me check. I think we're good to go. Yeah, on my screen, for some reason, on our platform, it's still showing. It went back, I think, or something. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But either way, I hope everybody's having a great day. Sorry, I was just thrown off there for a second. But it is Friday, January 2nd. Hope everybody's having an amazing day. Bitcoin is bouncing hard. Okay, now I can see my screen. Perfect. Bitcoin bounced bounced today a bit. Obviously, ETH bounced a bit harder. We're going to talk about whether this is the move that we've been anticipating for several weeks here on the stream back to that 3,400 mark, or potentially another fucking chop back into this 3 month or 2 month consolidation. Either way, I think this move, especially on ETH, is pretty impulsive. And unless we come down hard here in the next few hours, I think is very likely going to continue to push through 3,400, which is really the final boss as far as this consolidation goes. Once we close and see acceptance above the $3,500 level, that's when we should probably see some acceleration into towards the $3,700, $3,900 level, just like we saw back here in. So I don't know why my internet's so slow right now. Oh, I think I have a VPN on. Let me turn that off. Oh, we're good. Just like we saw back here in June, this consolidation, and when Bitcoin closed back above here at 2,700, as you can see here, it took off all the way back to all-time highs or near it. I think the same thing happens here if we close above 3,500. I think we do get to around that 4,000 mark. But either way, I want to get into the charts as well. But before we get started today, first of all, before I get into what we're going to talk about today, if you could let me know, first of all, where you're tuning in from, what country. What's good, Diamond Pug? How you doing, brother? What country, where you're tuning in from, and whether this is your first time in the stream. Um, Let me check something. Oh, is this still not? Okay, cool. No, it's working. Um, but let me know where you're coming from, whether this is your first time in the stream. You've been here before. I'm seeing a lot of names. What's up, Carl? What's up, Samus? Shirobo, how you doing? Before we get started, too, if you guys could please like, comment, retweet, share, all that good stuff. Let me make sure. All that good stuff would be really appreciated. Yeah, first time here, brother. I appreciate you being here. Looks like you are from Canada. Hope everybody's having a good New Year. Everybody had a good New Year's Eve, and if you had a good time, hope you're still recovering. You're recovering well. Netherlands, never been here before. Yes, Samus, I've seen you for sure. Mike, what's good, brother? Always trying to be in here, brother. Yeah, brother. I appreciate the support. Mike, you've been here for a bit, probably like a year now. Been here a few times. So that's what's up. Ben Lee, what's up? Or Ben Lee reposted the stream. I appreciate you guys for doing that. But Affinity, what's up, man? But yeah, today we're going to talk about again the Bitcoin ETH Soul chart, whether this move is the move that we've been waiting for on the stream again for about a month and a half now since Bitcoin was holding that 81K low for a couple of weeks. Been saying that these consolidations, been saying over and over again that the number one predictor of a higher time frame bottom is consolidation. Same thing we saw, back in April 2024, summer of 2023. Every single time, what ends these big corrections, or at least what produces big bounces, is a prolonged period of consolidation, meaning holding above a low. As you can see here, have the 81K low here circled so that you guys can see that it's held above the 81K low, and then put in another consolidation here over the last 2 weeks. To me, that kind of confirms that the bottom was very likely in. And I think this bounce does continue back towards that 93K, 94K level, and very likely closes back above 94, 95K and heads back to 100. From there, I'm still very strongly in the camp that Bitcoin is going to push to all-time highs from here, despite everything you're hearing on the timeline. I know that's not consensus right now at all, because of how down the prices have gone since 1010. But again, if you just look at all the fundamentals, the macro, the regulatory, the risk assets, equities at all-time highs, um, the regulatory stuff, like I said, institutions, probably the biggest thing. They're pretty much telling us that they want to put all markets on chain. The SEC and all the regulators are saying the same thing. So I think it's pretty. All the fundamentals are essentially very, very bullish. And now what we're seeing on the charts, and what I've been stressing for the last few weeks on Twitter and the Telegram in these streams, is that what we're seeing in the last couple months is exactly what we see at these big bottoms. Now, we have to be cognizant that this very well could, this bounce, it is possible that if somehow the 1010 bear market or whatever, or 1010 event, did create all this stuff that we could roll over into another 2022 type run where we, roll over and go down one more time. But again, I just, other than price coming down so hard, the Bitcoin price coming down harder than it has in other corrections, I just don't see the bear case. I don't see the any type of, because I mean, when Bitcoin topped out in 2022, other than no institutions being involved, regulators were all attacking crypto. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a macro bear market. Like, they were raising rates. The stock market came down a lot too, right? This time around, not only is there no stock market, come down, the stock market's at all time highs. They're lowering rates. The macro situation's great. We have regulators and the institutions on our side. I just don't see the fucking bear case other than the price being down more than usual. And just how price came down more than usual, more than these past corrections, it could soar and pump way harder this time around, more than these past moves up as well, and take back all of that stuff and all that move down that it made. Again, because I think the fundamentals eventually drive everything, and I think they're the best that they've ever been. So we'll see. Again, I think whether right now this move takes us back to all-time highs, it does, or takes us above 95K. We are looking kind of choppy here. I do think in the next few weeks, we do eventually close back above 95K and really start that bounce that we've been waiting for. And again, all it would take is, with this, everything starting to fly, for Bitcoin, a couple weeks of price action to start to get above 100K. And at that point, I think everybody's going to get super freaking bullish again, and probably see the complete opposite sentiment that we do now. Now, I don't know if you guys saw as well, I did put out this tweet yesterday. I've been tweeting a lot the last few days, but put out this tweet yesterday saying the yes on Bitcoin on Polymarket, the yes on, here, let's see. I said in the tweet, the yes on Bitcoin all-time high by June 30th on Polymarket is looking nice here. Okay. The reason why, there's a possibility, like I said, there's a possibility that Bitcoin does go into a bear market sometime this year. I just don't think it's from here. And I'm very confident that there's going to be a bounce to 95 to 100K, like I've been saying. And in that scenario, I think the odds on June probably double or triple, right? And as you guys can see in the screenshot here, I think it was, the odds were at 19% yesterday when I tweeted this, before Bitcoin bounced hard today. And now I think they're sitting at What is it? What is the Bitcoin all time high by? Okay, we're kind of back down. I think they were up today. Actually, we're down a bit, but we were up a bit today. But either way, I think this is still valid. I do think we get that bounce in the next few months, and this is kind of can act these prediction markets can kind of act as like an option, right? Where Bitcoin doesn't have to go to all time highs by June 30th for me to profit off of this. Where essentially say that Bitcoin bounces like I think it is going to up into that 100K level or even 95K level. Obviously, the odds of that happening at that point, or the odds on Polymarket, are also going to go up there. And I think they could easily, because of how exuberant and how overly bullish and how overly bearish people get, that those odds could easily triple to or double to 40, maybe 50, 60% pretty quickly if that were to happen. So I bought a bit of the yes position here. I think I will buy more if we do stay a bit down here. And I do think, you know, this could, one of two things could happen again, double, triple, or, who knows? Bitcoin does give us an all time high this summer. Everybody thought we were going to get all time highs last summer. Oh, we kind of did, right? Everybody thought it was going to be a super bullish summer all year. We are going to go to 150K. Maybe this next summer we really do get it when nobody's expecting it, right? So, yeah, I think that I really like this the poly market trade. Let me look at the chat real quick. Soul Gator shared the stream. I appreciate you, brother. Again, if you guys could like, comment, retweet, share. I appreciate you guys for spending your time with me. Market's still pretty slow. But as we're saying here, I think whether that we go straight from here, which I mean, ETH is looking pretty damn impulsive on the daily. We got to see how this candle closes here in about a couple hours. But this is looking nice. Bitcoin can kind of power up too. We get any closer to 32, 3,300. I think there's a really good chance we get to that consolidation high. And if we can close above, like I have here, if you just look at what price does once it closes above these multi-month highs, just like it did here, once it goes above those multi-month highs, usually it accelerates pretty quickly. And that's kind of what I'm expecting here for once ETH closes above 3,400. I think we're going to quickly move into 36, 37, $3,800 territory. Right now, I am long ETH. Put out this clip here earlier too. Let's go ahead and watch it really quickly. Long Can you hear this right now? I do have a long position 10x. I'll go ahead and share my. Can you hear this? Can't stop me now. Entries I did last week too. I have a ETH long with an average entry of about, I think it's about 2860. So kind of right below where. But as you guys can see here, yeah, pretty much gave out my entry. The ETH long that we're able to catch here on 1800 to 4800 was literally like my best perps trade of my life. Was able to scale in and out of it pretty cleanly. Got really bullish again because the fundamentals were so good for ETH, despite everybody flooding it and the prices were being down. All of a sudden, DATs came out, and then obviously it went crazy. I think we're gonna get a similar run here. And here are my entries. If anybody is trading perps, again, perps, you don't need to be trading perps. I only recommend people do touch perps if and when they already have some experience on the charts, and then also most of all just have a spot portfolio of Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, some spot memes, all that different stuff set up. I always recommend perps, prediction markets, stuff like that. You use maybe 5 to 15% of your portfolio instead of making it your entire port, right? But if you do trade perps, here are my entries and what I'm doing. I take the more swing trade approach when I'm trading perps. I'm again looking to catch these bigger moves, and the trade-off for that sometimes is I'm only taking sometimes 1 or 2 trades a year, right? Where I'm holding these trades for weeks and months at a time. For example, I was in this ETH long. Fuck, I'm not even sharing my screen. I was in this ETH long here from like May all the way into like August or July, where I was, it took out about 80% of my profit or my position, and then didn't really starting a position again until November. So there was about 3 or 4 months there where I did not take a perps position at all. But the positive trade-off is these moves are a lot more cleaner. You're able to target way bigger moves, get much bigger payoffs. while also being able to have better risk to reward ratios, all that different stuff. So either way, I do think ETH is going to power towards 3,400 and eventually break up. At that point, we do need to see, just like Bitcoin, how ETH performs at this 200 moving average, the red one, because historically, in bear markets, ETH will come down, bounce, but fail to break above the 200 moving average, and then that's usually what signals a start of a quote unquote bear market, where it's just another leg down essentially. But to me, I think there's still a very, very good chance that this ETH bottom is just like we saw here, just like we saw the consolidations for Bitcoin the last few years, where this couple month bottom actually leads us back to all time highs instead of a bear market like everybody's anticipating. So expect everybody to get super bullish again. Expect to hear nothing about a bear market anymore once we close above 95K. But if we want to be objective traders, we do need to see what Bitcoin does as it's approaching that 107K level at the 200 moving average. Because again, guys, the 200 moving average, just like I showed you on ETH, has actually been the kind of the deciding factor on whether it's a temporary correction or whether it's a bear market. Like you saw here, Bitcoin topped out in November 2021, came down to 34K, bounced back to 50K at that 200 moving average. And what did it do after that? Came down hard after it failed to break, went all the way down to 15K. We were down for another, 8 months after that before we bottomed out. We kind of want to see how Bitcoin performs at the 200 moving average, same kind of way, right? Does it chop really slowly, peter out and then come back down one more time? The best case scenario that we want to see going into January of 2026 is Bitcoin hitting this 94K, popping above it, pulling back, confirming that it's not going to break, and then powering right through that 107K level. Just like we saw here, here, and here. I say this a lot too. The impulsivity, how quickly Bitcoin moves out of this correction is going to tell us everything. If it's slowly chopping up and it is consolidating, we probably know it's going to come down one more time. But if it does what it did in April, where it goes from 84K all the way to 100 in like a month or 2 or 3 weeks, then we know that the bull market's resumed, or that we're back in the bull. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting in the next few weeks, guys. Bitcoin needs sold to finally power through those levels. What'd you say? Yeah, I'm gonna do that too. What is up, Misty? How you doing? Hey, Brent, how's it going? Good, good. I'm doing well. Why on Telegram? That's weird. It's on my. But do you think we see January affected play at the moment? Um, yeah, I mean, obviously it has something to do with it, Misty, right? I think it's the same as any of these singular seasonal trends that they're definitely not nothing, but I don't think they're ever like the sole reason for something happening. Right? Like I think Bitcoin is moving up hard here, partly because of tax season, but also because it's been consolidating for 2 or 3 months. Sometimes it takes these obvious narratives for it to really play out. But I would say whether this tax season happened or not, I've been saying that the Bitcoin bottom is close either way. So yeah, it definitely has something plays into it, but it's not. I don't think it's the sole key thing. Looks like we're in a 5 year cycle. Yeah, I think maybe the better way to say it is that the whole concept of 4 year cycles are putting these moves in like yearly cycles at all is just not the maybe not the way to look at it anymore. Like I think Bitcoin crypto is looking more towards potentially will look more like the stock market has the last 15-20 years since 2008, where we go up like kind of up only on the higher time frames with kind of 6 month 1 year corrections every few years, right? I mean, if you look at the S&P 500 since 2008 when the stock market kind of bottomed out, um, it's been kind of up only. Like you see here, it's like just straight up. But then in May 11, we had a 20 or 30% correction. We didn't really have a lot of corrections until obviously COVID 2020 big spike down. We had the clean correction in 2021. We had a correction here in the tariff war. So, I think crypto, because of the institutional adoption, it's kind of made it is that Bitcoin and ETH Sol probably look more like the stock market, where it's just kind of up only on the higher time frames. The only thing I think changes that is that if we get a major run in 2026 where Bitcoin goes to like 250, 300K, memes and alts are going crazy. Everybody and their fucking grandma is trading crypto again, which I think is possible. I think that's what we're moving towards anyway. But if that happens really quickly, let's say by March or April, we're already in that full blown euphoria again. I think there's a possibility that we do see a longer term, like 2021 type bear market. But I think that only comes if things just go crazy. I think the reason why we got a 2021 type bear market is because prices just went up way too fast and euphoric for the tech. And now I think crypto is starting to move slower and it's kind of caught up with the tech and it hasn't got too euphoric. But I think it's possible we do see that euphoria again. Sorry, there's a fucking car starting their engine right here, but a sick Audi. Um, but yeah, I think euphoria is possible this year and that could produce a bigger bear market. But in the absence of that, I think we're going to go up only more on Bitcoin and ETH over the next 5 or 10 years as Bitcoin gets closer to $1 million, as all different markets start getting put on chain, as the world goes more digital, people are using NFTs and video games and collectibles and all these different things. I think these assets go up and to the right for many years. Space Faceless, what's up, bro? Happy New Year. Yeah, let me make that quote tweet really quickly. While I'm doing that, if you could like, comment, retweet, share. Let me know if you just pulled up right now. We're just kind of talking about Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. Let me know if this is your first time in the stream, one, or if you're returning, say first time or returning, and then two, second, let me know what country you are in the where you're tuning in from. Let me go ahead and quote tweet. Yo, we're live. Pull up. Um, um, but yeah, also today we're going to talk about a little bit about if creator tokens are a bad idea or the future of social. It seemed like a few days ago, right after the Nick Shirley token came out, that all these KOLs, I hate calling them fucking KOLs, just people on Twitter with big accounts came out and started talking about how creator tokens, nobody wants them. They're stupid. Like they should just do the socials. I'm sorry, the blockchain crypto socials without the coins. I've seen people create different models of doing it without the coins. I don't know. I liken it kind of. I'm gonna try to find it right now. Actually, um, sorry, somebody messaged me. Can't stop me now. If you could do me a favor and find me that TikTok. I'm talking to my producer, by the way. Find me that TikTok with Gary Vee where he talks about the blockchain social thing. If you could find me that, so I don't have to look through that. Amazing. If not, don't worry about it. But I do think the creator tokens, we're probably just way too early overall for them to be adopted, obviously. But I think there's something there, guys. I think it simply comes down to the fact that I think everything's going to go on chain, even social media. Um, Everything's going to be tokenized. Everything's going to have a market. I think you're going to be able to speculate on obviously coins, memes, movements. Obviously, I'm big on movement coins, events with prediction markets, and then I think you're even going to be able to speculate and own a piece of creators. I think music is eventually going to be tokenized. Like I know that sounds crazy because music NFTs are like a meme, but I think eventually everything's going to be tokenized, put on chain, and given a market, and especially social media, because I think ownership of your content and ownership of all these different things are going to be a big thing. And I think right now it sounds crazy, but I think the creator tokens could be the model for streaming too. Again, we could be years off from that, but I think there's something there, and it just makes sense. Again, if you just put it into simple terms of, I think everything is going to be able to be speculated on. I remember talking to somebody, my like girlfriend at the time, about this like 3 or 4 years ago, about how I think eventually, and people were talking about this, you're going to be able to speculate on Taylor Swift and like her rise in her whatever. And Taylor Swift, maybe at that point, she doesn't need that money, but these different celebrities are going to be able to speculate on and bet on their rise and their early young creators, be able to bet on them early before they become big and all those different things. I think that's where creator tokens are, and I think we may be too early. And the whole thing of how you know nobody wants them. I think for most of these main technologies, the way they start out is nobody wants them except the visionaries who can really see like the end goal for them. Same thing with the internet, right? I remember watching a clip and people were talking about why the fuck do we need the internet, right? Like talking about how like I can just listen to the radio. Can you not? Okay, listen to the radio. Um, like people didn't really see the vision for it, but there was few people out there who did, and then it became everything. I think creator tokens, there's something there, and then I also think this year when crypto kind of makes this resurgence, that all it would take is one big streamer or a bigger creator other than Nick Shirley to come in during good conditions and launch a coin either on Zora or Pump Fund and ignite a big bull market in the CCM coins. I think the CCM coin thing is really cool. It's more fair launch, allows you to get into these things without being manipulated by these big cabals. It's way harder to cabal these things. I'm bullish on creator coins. I don't know if they're going to pop off right away. I've been looking into it. I already have a Zora profile. Haven't really pushed into it or anything. This isn't any, whatever. I'm considering eventually when it makes sense, tying my content, maybe a community stuff to it again when it makes sense, doing it a thoughtful way, because I think this stuff is the future. Whether it's 3 months from now, people realize 3 years from now, I think there's something there with on-chain social and the creator coins. So I don't know if you guys saw today, Ansem actually shilled. I say shill, but he just talked about how Nick Shirley coin on Zora and how if any of these coins are going to pop off, it's this one. And it's talking about he has 135 million impressions, and then now we see the Nick Shirley coin at 7.7 million. I don't know how much has gone up today since Ansem Shield. Oh yeah, since Ansem shielded, it's up 3 or 4x. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's something there with the creator coins. Does this create a wave right here that just pops off right now? I think it's possible if crypto conditions are good, but it's something to keep an eye on. I sure am. Let me know in the chat. Do you guys think the creator coins are bullshit? Do you think nobody wants them, or do you think we're really just early? Do you think we're not early and these things might catch on way sooner than we think? Let me know in the chat. I see you guys asking questions in the chat too. I'll definitely get to those here in a bit. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, we're gonna pull up this video really quickly though. Um, let's see. Let me share my entire screen. Um, okay. Can you hear this? No. Okay. I need to share this specific. Sorry, guys. Stand by. I need to share this specific window. Perfect.
To help all this shit. Most people don't know what the blockchain is versus the internet. The internet is a bunch of servers to help all this shit work, but countries and companies own those servers. The blockchain is a bunch of decentralized servers that talk to each other through power and electricity that nobody owns. That's it. You can imagine why that's incredibly powerful. If you do all your behavior on the blockchain, not America, not Russia, not China, not Google, not Facebook, not Visa can do anything. They don't own it. Everything you do on the internet is owned by somebody, a country or a company, and everything you do on the blockchain is owned by nobody. Powerful. I believe the biggest social network that is yet to come is a social network that's built on the blockchain that nobody owns. Nobody can block your account. Got it? Most people.
Yeah, and again, I played that clip. I could have just played that last part there. Everybody knows blockchain is all that stuff about blockchain. But I don't know if you guys heard there at the end. He said the next big social media, the big social media that nobody is using yet or whatever, is a blockchain social media. And of course, there could be a world where coins aren't involved, but I just don't. This just doesn't. I think it just makes sense if all content is going to be tokenized. Of course, it's going to be in the form of fungible tokens. Not non fungible. It's just I think that's what technology works for it. The creator coins are an interesting thing. I think you could technically do the socials. You could do a blockchain social without the creator coins, and you could just have each piece of content be tokenized. But I really like the flywheel of the creator coins to the content, to where when people buy the content, you're actually buying back your creator coin, or it's pumping your creator coin going back to people who are holding the creator. Like I think that flywheel is really powerful, and the reason why this matters, and I'm showing you this, is because Gary V has been from Facebook to from Twitter to Facebook before these things get popular. A couple years before these things got popular, Facebook, um, Twitter, even back in 2004, and then the biggest one, TikTok. I remember Gary Vee was saying TikTok was going to be the fucking biggest thing in the world back when it was kids just dancing on there, and now it's become way bigger than anybody ever thought. The fact that he's saying this about blockchain social, I think, is very notable. I'm gonna see if I can find something really quickly about his predictions. Oh, it's not gonna let me do it without logging in. So yeah, go and check
Heard of
that out
Web3 but
yourself.
no idea what
But
it is? Well, here it is
Gary's
in 60
always on
seconds.
point with
Web
these
1, that's the original
socials, and I
internet.
think it's just really interesting that he's talking about blockchain socials becoming big. Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens with Zora. Let's look at Zora coin itself. Actually, let me share my screen. I think if and when the coins kind of pop back, and damn, this followed our shit pretty quickly, but then pulled back. Um, I think when the market does recover with the flywheel and everything with creator coins, Zora could be bottoming out here. We'll see what happens, but um, yeah, the fact that it's chopping towards this low and kind of swept it, I think when the market does recover, that we're going to see Zora coin probably be a nice resurgence, two or three, or about 4x back, 3x back to all time highs. So I like the coin here too. We'll see what happens with the creator tokens themselves. Dom's Crypto asked, "Do you think memes will go parabolic this year?" I'm down like 40% of my port. So yeah, Doms, I do think that memes are going to bounce back with Bitcoin here in the coming weeks. If we look at what Bitcoin did, Bitcoin and memes did together this year in April, or last year in April, when it bottomed out in March, April, what did memes do? Um, when they bottomed out in March, April, what did, look, as you can see here, Bitcoin bottomed out in March and April. What did Giga do, for example? March and April, uh, Giga took off from 93K to 293 million, right? Did the 3 or 4x. What did Mog do uh, when Bitcoin bounced from 79K to 120? Mog did a 6x, right? It can keep going on. What did Pepe do? Again, these are all the biggest memes too. So like the smaller ones did way bigger numbers. But what do we see in April? Pepe went from 250 or 2.5 to 7. What happened though in April? Who asked that question? What happened in April, Doms, is that Bitcoin only ran, instead of its 6 to 9 month run that it usually goes on, it only ran for 3 months. It ran from April to July. So it didn't give time for Pepe or Mog or Giga to fully get back to those all time highs. And then it keeled over. I think that's why everybody's feeling so fucking hurt by all this, is because Bitcoin has made multiple all time highs in the last year, but memes didn't get that full shot to really hit those all time highs and for pump fund volume to really come back. Um, but this time around, if we're able to get a 3 to 6 to 9 month run, maybe even a year run on Bitcoin, God willing, I think memes are going to make them crazy come back. I think Pepe goes to all time highs. I think Mog, SPX, Giga go to all time highs. And I think very likely go to 5 to 10 billion. The ones that I named there go to 5 to 10 billion, many of them, because of the supply distribution that these corrections forge. The people that buy during these corrections are strong diamond-handed believers. A lot of people have 1, 2, 3, 5% of these coins. A lot of people 0.10, like you have a lot of people um, really getting along, big positions of these coins during these times. And those people, a lot of them have higher targets, right? They're not selling on a 1, 2, 3, 5x. Some of them will, but a lot of these people believe in the movement to, for example, USDUC to flip fucking USDC and flip the whatever to SPX to flip the stock market or get anywhere close to that. Like these people are holding for way higher. And I think that's what we're going to see on this next wave is when these coins do bounce back, they're going to go, they're going to outperform everything. And that's why I've been, it's been a long 6 months. SPX hit a new all time high. MOG almost did, like I said. Giga ran, but it's been like a year since these things have seen all time highs. But I've been able to accumulate a lot of these, good amount of these coins over this year. And I'm excited to see them hit all time highs when it's time. Doms, what's up, bro? You already saw Bitcoin follows the same structural path as equities on the higher time frames, but with a major advantage. Shirobo says that the volatility provides much deeper entry opportunities. In 20 years, our kids might look back in the same way we look at boomers who bought. Exactly, dude. I don't know if a lot of you guys were here back then, but Max, this guy Max, Mike Williams, who I had doing these streams with me for a couple months. He's a stock market vet. Like, I don't know. We showed some of the clips, but the guy was on MSNBC, Fox, like all of these big news shows, like hundreds of times in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, talking about big crises, talking about the stock market. He started trading back in 1980 when the Dow was at like 300 or some shit, I thought he was saying. And yeah, he said that same thing you said now, Shirobo. He said that essentially crypto is now where equities in the stock market was when he was trading back in the 80s. And I think some of these entries on some of these meme coins that are down 80 or 90%, the SPX, the Gigas, the Mogs, some of these altcoins, TAOs, some of these long-term AI coins, some of these NFTs, VFriends, are gonna be the equivalent of buying these things now, and holding them for 5, 6, 10 years are gonna be the equivalent of some of these people buying Amazon, Google, Apple back in these lows here back in the early 2000s. And I know that sounds crazy comparing to fucking VFriends to Apple, but I think the concept, I think it checks out. I think these these high quality assets, sometimes they run way too early for what the technology is ready for. Like Apple, for example, it did have obviously this monster run. Apple had this monster run, but what did it do? It ran, had the big .com run from 11 cents to 10x in about 2 or 3 years. Then what did it do? It came down 75-80% and didn't make all time highs for another 5 years. Right? People shit on NFTs. Yeah, they've been down for 4 or 5 years, but Apple, the most successful company in the world, I think the right behind Nvidia, obviously in market cap, did the same thing, came down 75-80% and didn't make all-time highs for 5 years. And the people who did buy during this 5 year period and did hold through that, they're up. I think this is after stock splits. I don't know how that might play into it, but I think it's still the same thing. I think you're up about 1,000x, if I'm not looking at that correctly, right? Because you're going 10x to $2, another 10x to 220, and then 10x to 270, 1,000x. Am I seeing that correctly? Or is it different with the stock splits? Either way, if it's just going from what this is now, I think it's 1,000x. Literally from just holding for 20 years. I think some of these NFTs are going to produce similar results. So yeah, literally anything can attract attention. Yep. Too early. Pump Fund is literally going to get a rival for Twitch if done right. I think so too. I saw something last year, the year before, saying buying stock in professional athletes where you can essentially bet on them having a good career. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what people have been theorizing for a long time. Back in those days, like I kind of imagined it as like a third party service would allow you to do it, but then it became more clear back on like music NFTs that I think the way it's going to play out is a lot of these creators are going to make these coins either through Pump Fund and Stream, or they're going to do Zora and Base, and they're going to launch a coin and they're going to tie utility, some type of community, Discord, something like that. Maybe Zora builds something through Base. Maybe they do it where they're going to come in. You're going to get a community. You're going to get some type of discounts, utility, something tied to the artist. that gives people access to stuff, maybe events, meetups, different things. And I think it's going to create sustainable moves for these coins. Obviously, the buybacks, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. Just the fact I think the Nick Shirley thing, the fact that it's starting to build even a little bit of momentum. I don't know. Nick Shirley is the biggest thing right now. Could we get some actual big creators coming in? Maybe Coinmakes makes some deals with them. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think we're a couple months away from potentially a kind of big resurgence. Obviously, it depends on the market. The market needs to recover. Bitcoin needs to bounce back too. But yeah, Wizard, I think it's powerful. Miss D says I think CCM will do well during a proper bull run where we have tons of new spec. Exactly, Miss D. That's exactly it. Miss D says, do you think the app passes of the Clarity Act will lead to significant crypto speculation? That's tough, Miss D. Like, it's tough to say whether I don't know. Like, if there's like a real headline grabber on the Clarity Act where there's something big that passes and it catches a headline, like I don't know, some type of law that allows something new, it could spark something. But it's just kind of like your question earlier. I think the market is ripe and the charts they're aligned. All the fundamentals are pointing towards a move up either way. Could that Clarity Act be the spark that sparks the short term move? Yes, for sure. But either way, I've been saying as well, like I think the Clarity Act and the regulatory stuff is like the most slept on part of what's going on in crypto right now, because I think for years people obviously there was the celebrities who still did a bunch of undisclosed shills and stuff. They're going to do that, but there's plenty of people in tech, plenty of people in NFTs and art and stuff who were like scared of making NFTs because the SEC might sue them, and they were going after people, to where now there's clear guidelines for crypto where people can come in and build shit and know exactly what they're going to do. I think that's going to unlock and allow a lot of people to come into crypto and use the technology and to build companies using NFTs and coins and all these different things. And I think the effect over the next 6 months, year, 2 years, 5 years is going to be very strong. Miss D, does it push a bull run in the short term? I think it certainly cannot hurt. So let's look on Zora for a second for some quality. Um, oh wow, this thing's already back at 8 too. It's pumping. Let's go ahead and yeah, let's go ahead and look at some Zora coins. Coin Hub making Zora great again. What is this one's pumping? I don't know what this is. But Nick Shirley, Crypto Kaleo has one. I need to buy this, dude. Did he did he just launch? No. No, he's had it for a bit. Yeah, no, this is I need to buy some. This is pumping. Oh, he's live right now.
Is the ability, the real niche, either a few things. Like one, launching any type of contract.
Damn, is he live right now? He was live.
Huge opportunity there.
Live on Twitter.
Two,
earlier.
Buying and transacting anything on ETH mainnet. So I think that there's a huge opportunity for anybody that's willing to be a little bit crazy.
Everybody go follow me on
Zora, cheap NFTs,
Zora.com,
because the overall tax for buying and selling those NFTs right now is as low as it'll ever be. Whenever activity picks up,
but yeah, Zora. Who else is killing it right now? Quality Learning Center. That's funny. Coin Hub, Jesse Pollock. Lock In, the coin has one. It's funny. Gary Tan has one, which he is the CEO of Y Combinator, which is obviously big in the business world. So it's interesting. I think it's fire that I need to get on here, take this seriously, but yeah, I'm bullish on Zora. I have a good feeling about it. What's up, bro, Jump? How you doing? Where's Max been? Honestly, Max, he got super busy a couple months ago and kind of stopped doing the streams with us. And then I don't know if he had some complications with his Twitter or what's going on, because he had one. And then that Twitter that he had that was at like 800 followers kind of disappeared. He made another one, and then now that one's gone. So I don't know where Max is at. I hope wherever he's at I know he's doing well. That guy's incredibly successful. He has a family, that he told us about a bit, and he's doing incredible, I'm sure. But I miss him. I hope he's doing well. He's shared a lot of insight and everything he said about the April correction and played out. He was saying, "Oh, this stuff is just essentially posturing. That essentially the U.S. and China are working out a deal with the tariffs so that both of them could look good. But essentially, it's a done deal. They're going to sign this tariff war, and it's going to be nothing in a couple months, just like it was in these other crises." And that's exactly what happened and played out. And the fact that Max Max has seen more from the 80s on, about 45 years in the stock market. He's been probably humbled more than anybody, but the fact that he has a more bullish view on crypto than even like these fucking permabulls on Twitter makes me extremely like optimistic. Like the fact he was saying that even us, like the people who are very bullish like myself and others, have no idea what's coming. The fact that they're going to merge blockchain with the stock market, with collectibles, with everything, is going to be massive, and I think that's what we're on the precipice of right now. So it's exciting stuff. As long as you don't double up on both the stock splits and the current splits, just to price your math. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's the price is good for the multiples. What are Sprodos at right now? Shout out to Boss Man. Definitely, I forgot to. If you guys haven't already, definitely hop in. I know most of you guys at this point who are on the streams and on Twitter and still hanging out are aware and probably inside in the Bossman Calls Telegram channel already. If you're not already, definitely check it out. Um, we've been at it, Bossman and I, together for about 3 years. Um, he had started the channel, I think, early 2023. There's about 200, 300 members. We partnered up, together. The channel's gone from the 300 members to 40,000 sometime in 2025 here, and it's been amazing. One of the biggest blessings of my life, be able to interact with people all over the world. But either way, if you guys haven't already, check that out. Obviously, meme coins, write ups on all types of crypto and trading stuff. Um, as well on the streams, but all these different coins: USDUC, Pengu, ticker, SPX. What was the other one? White Whale. Always posted on the Telegram first, so definitely check that out if you haven't already, and then also follow Bossman. I know most of you probably already have, but yeah, I'll hang out probably for another 10 or 15 minutes. I think we're still in a quiet time in the market, kind of getting over the new year. We're entering Friday, but I do think in the next few weeks we are going to accelerate and see prices start to move up. Everyone on CT, but yeah, it's just crazy, man. I don't know if you remember a couple days ago, guys. Everybody was saying the fucking meme coin bubbles popped. It's NFTs, and then what does Pepe do? Like 2 days later, it just says psych and whatever. Obviously, it's not a crazy move yet, but pretty sizable move, guys. This is definitely the biggest move that we've seen this correction here for Pepe. Sorry, there's a fucking trash truck right outside my window. That's crazy. Crazy timing. But who's calling me right now? Give me 1 second here, guys. All right, guys, I apologize. But yeah, Pepe, pretty big bounce. This is the biggest bounce we've seen during this correction. And wow, it is up now about 50%, but we'll see if this continues. I think if Bitcoin does continue, we will see Pepe continue the upside too. Always a good sign for memes when Pepe is moving. Trillions will flow into crypto. Yeah, I agree. I think so too. John F says, "Yo, bro, what's good, John? How you doing? How you doing? Yo, you're on YouTube, John. What's up, John? John, let me know. Please let me know in the comments. Did you pull up from YouTube? Like, did you find this on YouTube, or are you from Twitter and you just went to the YouTube? While we're here, if you guys could also, as you guys can see on the top right of the screen, all my other socials are on there. Really starting to try to get serious with TikTok. For a while. Holy shit! I apologize, guys. Sorry, I didn't think the trash truck came through on Fridays. It's weird. But the what was I fucking saying? God damn. Oh, YouTube. Really starting to get more serious on TikTok. I remember I was posting before I started using the overlays and before my mic was solid and stuff. I was getting 100, 150, 200 views on TikTok. Now they're starting to tick up there to 400, 600, 800,000, 2,000 views on some of them, which is exciting, especially during a time for quiet for crypto. But if you guys could please, if you've ever found any value from the streams or for friends or whatever, if you guys could please go and to TikTok and comment, like, retweet. Obviously, follow, and I'll shoot you a follow back. Again, especially on Instagram and TikTok, I'm really making a big push in 2026 to branch out to these other platforms. I think right now, very low viewership on these platforms. There's still people out there looking for crypto, and I think over the next few years there'll be way more. So I'm just trying to, show people on crypto Twitter that you can be successful and do well, um, without having to trade a bunch of coins every day and trading pump and dumps and all this shit. So definitely check that out. But I forgot to talk about too. White Whale has gone absolutely nuts, even again since our last stream. Fucking A. I set up all this outside in my balcony. Usually, I didn't think the trash comes out now, so I'd have to move it to stew it. But I appreciate you guys working through there. Oh, he said, "Hell yeah, I'm still tripping. It's easier for me to watch on YouTube because I can play through my Bluetooth." Okay, shout out to you, John. Thank you for doing that. But yeah, follow the other socials, please, if you guys could. That'd be great. Got a bunch of fucking Sprotos hitting the tweet. What are the Sproto Gremlins at, though? Let's see. Damn, Sproto Gremlins all the way down to 0.2. Oh no. Oh no. I don't even want to. I'm not even going to show you guys what levels I bought some of these at. Oh fucking no. I'm just going to do it because fuck it, right? 2.5. 2.9 I paid for this fucking ugly motherfucker. Sheesh. No. All kidding aside, I do think long term the thesis of meme coin NFTs, especially if meme coins and NFTs can somehow get some kind of run together, I think the thesis checks out. Obviously, I think it's going to need to take a major meme coin run, which I think is very possible this year. But to see these things at 0.2, even my lowest buy is fucking down 75%. It hurts. Definitely hurts. Down 90% on this buy. But I'm not selling, so fuck it. Down probably a combination of what? 5 ETH on this? It is what it is. I think long term, again, the meme coin and NFT thesis. I don't think meme coins are going anywhere. I think NFTs could potentially have some type of resurgence if there's some type of mainstream catalyst that comes in the next few years. But yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. Wonky stonks. We were just watching Kaleo on Zora, obviously streaming. This is his NFT collection, the Wonky Stonks, which I need to buy more of. I believe in these long term as well. And then obviously the V Friends, which I have a lot of as well. Jesus Christ. What's up, Myhez? Yeah, Misty, it's a fucking struggle. It's annoying. This trash truck's literally like loading up 5 of those big trash cans and all doing them all at once. So it's crazy. John asks, "Are we still holding Kermit and White Whale?" Yes, I am still holding White Whale. 50 or 40% of my position I already took off of. Let's look at White Whale right now. Luckily, on the last week, we have done incredibly well on the stream. Anybody who bought White Whale, when I talked about it here at 3.5 million, we did take a drawdown of about 60, 70%. But then it went from 600K to 60 million, which is 100x in a matter of 18 days. So I took about 25% off here at all-time highs, and then I took another 15% off here at around 45, 50 million. So I'm holding the rest right now. It does look like the white whale could potentially be making a bigger correction right now, but a 50, 60, 75% correction even would be healthy. And I do really like what the white whale is doing. And I think it can, if market conditions can do well, I think we see the white whale continue its journey on to 100K. So as far as Kermit, I have not taken any profits in Kermit yet, I believe. I think it's going to push higher. And once it pushes higher again, I'll take 25% off. I did enter Kermit around 2 million. Also a good play. FKH, though, has done incredible. Shout out to Donnie, to my homie Donnie. Donnie Dicey. He changed his PFP. This is fucking sweet. Okay, now the truck's driving by, so it should be leaving now. Give me 1 second. Um, the biggest one is FKH, though. Shout out to Donnie Dicey. Sending me this one in the DM at 2 fucking million. Now at 13 million. It went all the way to about 20 earlier today. But yeah, FKH is another one I think continues to push higher over the next few weeks as well. Do I see the Bitcoin liquidations around 86K? Do we push into CPI? I think it's possible that Bitcoin could. I know it's loud around me. This fucking trash truck's right here. I did not anticipate this. That's crazy. But 81K. I think it's possible that if Bitcoin does fail to break higher here, which I think it's going to, I think it's going to break higher. But if it fails to break higher, it's always possible that Bitcoin could sweep the 81K low one more time and then do something like this. That's always a possibility. And if that was the case, I would just add to my longs under there. But I think again, this consolidation is pointing to whether it goes from here or sweeps one more time to higher in the next few weeks. Fuck, I was not sharing. But yeah, I'm gonna scroll the timeline a little bit here, and then we're gonna get off. Again, not crazy a lot to talk about today. Want to talk about creator coins a bit, meme resurgence. I do think the movement memes are going to continue to do the best. This tweet's kind of going crazy right now, but Mog, SPX, Giga, USDUC, Troll, Pepe, ticker Bitcoin, I think are going to do incredibly well this year, whether it be right away or it takes a little bit to pick up. Yeah, I'm here for it. What are your thoughts on the USD one coin change your life? Yeah, one is another one that I haven't bought, but I know I have a lot of friends that are in that one. Or oh, I thought you were talking about Win or whatever. But yeah, coin can change your life. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think we could see a run on the USD one coins. It does seem like there's something there. So obviously we have FKH and a few of the other ones. I would probably keep an eye on it. I wouldn't be surprised to see it run. Crypto on GTA 6. Yeah, we'll see, man. I don't know. What do you guys think? Crypto and GTA 6. A lot of people would probably still say it's a long shot, but I think it's possible. But yeah, with that, guys, going to continue to do the streams every Tuesdays and Fridays. Next week, I'm extremely fucking stoked to announce that I will be having my friend FFV on stream. I know most of you guys know him. He's a beast. Long term guy, been in the space for a few years. A mix of great humor, but as well as this guy has a lot of great outlooks All right, the fucking trash guy fucking drove away now. That's hilarious. Okay, so FFV coming on next week, Friday, 11 a.m. PST. Usually, he is great. He's very funny, but also great takes on crypto, NFTs. Him and I think a lot alike on a lot of things as far as like long term aspects of crypto and NFTs, but also differ on some opinions. He seems to think that meme coin bubbles pop. They're just like NFTs. They're, as most of these coins are never going to come back. You guys know me. I'm more so on the camp that the last few years that meme coins essentially ebb and flow with Bitcoin. And just like we saw in 23 and 24 and this year, that MOG, SPX, Giga, the great coins, and the meme coins as a whole are going to bounce back when Bitcoin does. But, differing opinions, a lot of the same opinions. It should be a good stream. So definitely I will be making an announcement, in a few days too, but definitely check that out. Tuesday, 11 a.m. PST. Next Thursday, we haven't done it in a bit, but I do plan on doing a stream with my buddy Hemdog, very likely as well, where we'll talk about NFTs, crypto. If you ever wanted to come up and say what's good, what's up, chop it up, all that good stuff, that would be a great time. So if you guys could like, comment, retweet, share the stream, always appreciated. And like I said, I will be back Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. for the next one. And I always appreciate everybody spending time, especially during these slow times, during the, right after the holidays. A lot of people have time off. Appreciate everybody for being here. So Tuesday, 11 a.m. PST. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Be safe. And the best is yet to come. Hope everybody has a great week.